So, welcome in the one and only intern Grant. 3 claps, 1 time, baby.
Yeah, what's up, Grant?
What's up, guys? Thank y'all for having me.
Man, we're happy to have you. It's
Sure are.
great, and it's just adding to the fantastic level of hair we have on this program between you, myself, Garrett. Joseph has fantastic hair. Miggy used to have good hair, and then he cut it all off. So
Now he's bald. He's a great bald man. Fantastic bald man. I'll say that. He has risen to the occasion of a bald guy too. He's become more professional. I'll say.
You think he's become more professional since he's gotten bald?
Every text feels like he's more professional. I was like, "Did you chat GPT text me today?" But we love you, Mig. Feel better, buddy. I definitely told Miggy not to come today.
Yeah,
Grant. I was like, "I have a child. You cannot get her sick." He was like, "Well, I am sick." I was like, "I'll see you later." So he is not coming today. But again, Mike's hole in the wall. I think I was slightly muted earlier. Saw that on there. So Mike's hole in the wall, best patio in town. Best wings, in my opinion, as far as flavor goes. Dude, the Wilford wings, Parmesan garlic plus buffalo. Sign me up, bro. Sign me up.
Can't go wrong. And always, are you ranch or blue cheese in terms
Definitely ranch. Yeah.
Attaboy. Good. We like him already.
Okay, good man. Good man.
All right, I now have another hard-hitting question for you. Are you single stuffed or double stuffed Oreos?
I'd have to go double stuff.
No, man, oh my God. I like this guy already.
Big fan.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
We knew we picked a good one.
Yes. Thank you, Keener Marketing, for passing this young man down to us. What a guy. What a guy. I'll tell you what, dude. The double stuffed Oreo has not been in my cabinets for a long time because they don't last very long. So
No.
I thought about it the other day, actually, funny enough, because I thought about you. They had the vanilla ones, which I love the vanilla as well.
Like on the outside?
Yeah,
the cracker, the cookie?
Yeah. Vanilla cookie too.
I mean, they're both good.
They're both delicious.
Yeah.
But I was like, I cannot purchase these because, like, the best chocolate chip cookie of all time. Hold with me. It's a gluten-free chocolate chip cookie from Trader Joe's. It is baked in the oven. It is 12 minutes at 350. Take off onto a rack, okay, and let sit for about 5 minutes. It's the greatest cookie I've ever had. And I don't even think anything's close. I've had them all. If you can't tell from this physique, I've had a lot of cookies here. But this cookie, to this day, it is the greatest cookie I've ever had.
Trader Joe's, you said?
Trader Joe's.
Okay. I'm going to have to try
listen,
that. Gluten-free as well.
Get the gluten-free ones. They're actually way better because we definitely did a taste test. Shout out to Mama Bear. It was our 1-year anniversary yesterday.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. We got to do that on Gino's show as well. So
I heard that.
That was nice.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, so shout out to our boy Gino. He's headed home for the first time in a long time. So
sweet.
Head up to Vermont. But yeah, per usual, college football playoffs, double stuffed Oreos. Welcome to Chat It Up. Like and subscribe everywhere. Follow us. All the fun things we're supposed to say.
Yeah. Shout out to, again, just want to shout out one more time to Mike's hole in the wall, the patio. We're sitting literally outside right now, and it's nice and warm in here. We're just in a sweatshirt. Grant's got a long sleeve shirt on. I'm sorry, just not
you're good.
Drink there.
Grant looks like a model over here in his flannel.
Yeah,
I love
his
that.
flannel. He looks like a lumberjack, sexy lumberjack.
Big fan, bro.
But yeah, shout out to Mike's wings, cold beer, great drinks, good atmosphere. Had the little Christmas party in here earlier. Come hang out. It's a fantastic spot for Thursday night football. You want to watch the games on Friday, on Saturday for college football. I know you all previewed a couple of the games, the matchups this weekend on the show on Monday. But we're about to preview the Tennessee Volunteers. Finally, going up against Ohio State. I've been dying to talk about this matchup. I think it's very simple what this matchup comes down to. I think there's really a couple of things that it's going to come down to. One or two things that are going to determine who wins or loses this game. Now, Chase, if something crazy happens where we get like a special teams touchdown or a big turnover or some sort of crazy play that happens, okay, we can't foresee something like that. Both of these teams very solid. They're in the top 10 for a reason. But there are a couple of things that are going to be very glaring and very telling to whether or not Tennessee wins or loses this game. And hopefully they win it.
Hopefully. As we hear Rocky Top over the intercom here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. He knows what he's doing. The man.
That's right.
The boys behind the bar and at the jukebox are doing good things for us. The matchup has gotten even better throughout the week, and it's the power of Twitter. Both these fan bases are a little crazy. a little much. But it's made it even better because I was like, man, I hope this kind of builds up. This is by far the best game from a standpoint of like matchup, what you believe, star power, the way, even the colors and all this stuff going up to Ohio. And my favorite thing this week, have you seen the where everybody in Ohio thinks Tennessee is? Have you seen these memes? Oh, they're great. So Ohio State's like, well, the Tennessee can't handle the cold. It's like, where do you think we are? Like we're what, 200 or 300 miles away? It's not like we're down in Florida. They're like, and so everybody's sending like pictures of Tennessee like down in the Caribbean.
We're the
like,
mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the mountains, brother.
Exactly.
Come on.
I was like, we do have the Appalachians like 25 minutes away. I count when I go.
It snows on the mountains.
It's right there, dog.
And
right
it gets colder than like most people would think. Like I've experienced northern winters, like northeastern winters, and I've experienced southern winters. And while the temperature might be very different, like in terms of it doesn't get as cold down here, but it almost feels as cold because it's more humid.
Yeah.
The air is just, it's wetter. So it almost feels almost like more bone chilling cold. So I think that narrative is well overblown when it comes to Tennessee, Ohio State. And if that's the only thing that they're clinging to, good luck, Buckeyes.
Good luck.
It's going to be a long night on Saturday. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. And I feel like we're a team that's built for the cold. We're a running team. We're heavy hitters. The defensive line's going to bring it. I think that's the biggest point for me is the offensive line of Ohio State, which is beat up, banged up, versus the defensive line that's just rotating 5 in, 5 out. Feels like basketball style. That's going to cause them problems. Scotty Kilgore, shout out, says the running game, if Sanson gets 2 touchdowns, we win. Thoughts on that?
It's my man.
Shout out to Scotty.
Associate head coach of the UTC Mocs softball program. Love Scotty.
Scotty's great, man. Always commenting. We love you, buddy.
He is. He's always looking and watching out. He said he was going to be jumping in the chat today. I said, hey, I need you to be a little bit more active in the chat. And he's jumped in. He said he's talking about deep fried Oreos are the best and things like that. He's not wrong. But we try to avoid those as best we can. We don't get physiques like we do here at the table by eating deep fried Oreos. Anyways, yes, Samson, I'll do him one better. 2 touchdowns are going to be fantastic. I think the first team to 21 wins this game. But I was looking up some things today about Tennessee, and you're talking about road games, and you're talking about running game and things like that. Oregon and Michigan ran for 155 and 177 yards against the Buckeyes. Buckeyes are 10-0 this season in games in which opponents have failed to rush for 150 yards. They are 0-2 when opponents rush for over 150 yards. So it might not even take the 2 touchdowns. Yeah, obviously the 2 touchdowns are going to be great. But if Dylan Sampson can get cooking on the ground and get up over 150 yards, or if a team just in general can get over 150 yards, Tennessee's going to win this game.
100%. The trenches are going to matter a lot more than people realize because, again, like I think there's a lot of casual Ohio State fans that are going to be looking at this game and like, all they do is throw it around the yard. They're going to see some old Jalen Hyatt poster videos, and you're like, that's not the same offense. We're definitely different. I'll be interested to see if they do kind of unleash some new stuff because you're going to have to. Like this is a really good football team in Ohio State. Talent-wise, I said it on the radio yesterday. Like NFL players-wise, they have the most prospects. I think they have 18 in most people's draft boards, 18 to 19, depends on what you're looking at. Tennessee has 8 to 11. There's some very far end guys, a lot of guys in the hundreds, but still, we'll take that. But for the most part, as far as NFL talent goes, Ohio State is it. They are the pinnacle of the whole bracket.
But here's my thing when it comes to Ohio State is everybody's worried about Tennessee and how they're going to handle the cold and all of that, Chase. But it almost seems like Tennessee's more well-versed to handle cold weather the way that they play football and their style of football right now than Ohio State is. Ohio State wants to throw the football around. With all of their wide receivers that they have, I mean, they're going to want to be able to throw the football. I know they tried to establish the run a little bit more against Michigan, and that didn't really work out at all. But, I mean, you look at Carnell Tate, you look at Jeremiah Smith, you look at Emeka Egbuka. Like, there are, as you mentioned, NFL talent all over the yard in the receiving corps. But if we're talking about 25-degree weather, maybe some swirling winds out there in the horseshoe, that's going to be a little difficult for Will Howard to throw the football around a little bit.
Yeah.
They might have to run the football a little bit more. And that is going to be a very difficult thing to do, something that Tennessee is more well-versed in, and both teams can play defense. That's why I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. So even though we're talking about Ohio State being favored in this game, I don't know how you can't take Tennessee in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, if you are a betting man, like the points are going to matter. 7.5 is a lot.
Yeah.
For Tennessee, too, you have the advantage here of I wonder how much Chip Kelly learned from 2 weeks ago.
Against Michigan?
Against Michigan.
Yeah.
Because they did what everybody said they did, was they played down and tried to beat Michigan the Michigan way. And while Tennessee's not the same, it's similar-ish, and they want to run the football a lot.
But Tennessee can also, they're a much better throwing team,
passing
team than Michigan is.
Much better.
So that was what was befuddling about that Michigan game.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense when you know exactly what they're going to do. And listen, they've got a Hoss at running back. No doubt about it. But that's the thing.
Not better than Dylan Sampson.
No, not better than Dylan Sampson. Probably not a better committee.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Ohio State just hasn't been that good of a physical football team up front. Like you mentioned, they have wide receivers, but Will Howard's not the thrower that they hope for. Like, you're getting Kyle McCord that can run a little bit. That's it. It's not a very different offense, and it just feels like with all that talent, like the one guy we got was Kyle McCord. Will Howard, yeah. We traded Kyle McCord for that.
It's like that you basically switched out almost the same guy, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think Kyle can throw it 3% better, but Will can run it 4% better. So it's I don't know, if it's much of a trade-off, it just depends on what you're going to get, what you want to do. And Chip likes to run the ball. He loves to run the ball. It's kind of the similar thing as they think Tennessee is this big passing offense because they hit these big bombs, but for the most part, Chip Kelly's a running football coach. It's kind of the same way for Tennessee. I think Josh is going to have a really, really good game plan for this one because that front's going to be pinning its ears back trying to get to Nico, I think, because they want to set the tone early. They're going to be really hyped up. It's the Scarlet out, I think is what they're calling it. I don't know how that works.
I feel like Ohio State fans are really stretching for this one. This just feels like a major letdown. This almost feels like the final nail in the Ryan Day coffin. They don't deserve to go any further than where they've gone or where they've gotten to so far because they lost to Michigan.
Yeah.
It just seemed like this should be the final nail. Everything in my being is telling me, look, Ohio State should be a better football team. Coming into the year, they were a better football team than Tennessee.
Yeah.
They have more talent. You alluded to that. But Will Howard is not a difference maker. And to me, that's the problem with this team. You have all that NFL talent, but Will Howard is Kyle McCord 2.0, and he's just not elevating the talent around him. And you talk about the offensive line for Ohio State, that they've been struggling a little bit. They lost Josh Simmons, their left tackle, after week 6 against the Oregon Ducks, and they've struggled a little bit with pass protection, and they haven't been moving people off of the football. And we already know that Ohio State doesn't play a gauntlet of a schedule. So to me, that's another spot where Tennessee can really affect this game is if they can get pressure with their front four, maybe sending a fifth, they'll be able to put some guys in coverage, lock up those wide receivers, not give Will Howard a lot of time to throw the football, affect him. That's how they're able to kind of keep Ohio State under wraps a little bit offensively, from an offensive standpoint. To me, that's what's going to make the biggest difference in this game is going to be the pressure that Tennessee can bring off of the edges. Now, Michigan has a little bit more interior pressure, but if James Pierce Jr. can have that I'm going to wreck a game type of game and just absolutely bum rush Will Howard and affect him, a couple of strip sacks, things like that, get some turnovers. That's one good thing that Tennessee's been, they've been really good about this year is affecting the quarterback, forcing turnovers in opportune times in the opponent's red zone. When they're about to score, hey, take the football away, turn it over, give another possession to the offense. So I'm trying to build a path for Ohio State to win this game, and I don't understand how people can feel so confident in Ohio State right now. I know they're a really good football team. I know they have a lot of good talent, but I just can't find a way. It just seems like all of Tennessee's strengths are lining up against Ohio State's weaknesses, and you can find ways to cover up Tennessee's weaknesses against Ohio State's strengths.
Exactly. Like you mentioned, though, James Pierce Jr. has to come out here and be the dude this game. What we saw against Georgia, because remember we talked about, like, I felt like Tennessee could really handle them up front. It looked like it early on, but then they just never got to Carson Beck. They just never got to him, and felt like we had 3 or 4 pressures, and I don't even know. I feel like they were kind of giving me stats because we needed to put them on there, but for the most part, just never got to Beck, and that can't happen against Will.
Yeah,
and Will can move. Will can move. He is not an absolute scrub. The guy's still, I think he's top 10 passing yards, and he's a really good running quarterback. So he can still hurt you, but we have to get to him in a hurry. We have to get to him a lot, and you can't have that letdown game like you had against Georgia if you're the defensive front. Like, this game's on you, because if we don't get to him, those Ohio State wide receivers will expose our pretty good corners who have definitely elevated, but I don't think they are like next level one-on-one coverage like Michigan had again, their cornerbacks. Like, there's going to be some one-on-one matchups. You're like, oh boy, I really need him to get there. So those are the things I'm worried about.
Yeah. Because when you look at, I mean, if we can, I'm just kind of pulling from the experiences that we've had this year in terms of our Tennessee fandom, and you look at that game against Alabama, and there were a couple of shots to be had there for Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
And he just missed on a bunch of shots. I don't think if Will Howard's given time, he's going to miss those same shots. Milroe might be a more athletic quarterback and a more dynamic athlete.
Yeah.
But I bet you Will Howard, if he's given that time, he's going to hit his very talented wide receivers.
Yeah.
Now, the only guy in the secondary that I feel decent about is Jermon McCoy against Jeremiah Smith, potentially. Mm-hmm. I know Smith's got a lot of length, and he's very athletic and all that good stuff, but I'm a little nervous about Carnell Tate versus Ricky Gibson, and I'm even more nervous about, stuff that keeps me up at night, stuff that nightmares are made of, our boy Boo Carter, the local kid, against Emeka Ibuka.
Yeah.
We need to give some help. We need to bracket coverage a little bit. We need to get pressure on Will Howard in a big way, or this could be a very, very difficult game for the Tennessee secondary. They have not faced a wide receiver in core in total like the one they're about to face on Saturday. That's what scares me the most. That's what gives me, personally, as a Tennessee fan, the most nightmares. If you can affect Will Howard, you can get pressure on him. That is the best friend in the secondary.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to help the most. Like, I don't care what kind of bracket coverage, double coverage you want to throw at any of these guys. There's too much talent out there. They ain't going to be dropping the ball like Georgia does.
They won't miss. They will not miss.
They're not going to be missing throws like Jalen Milroe was. Will Howard, if given time and the ability to stay clean in that pocket, he will be able to carve you up. Again, he's not the most dynamic passer in the world. He's not amazing, but he's good enough, and he's in that spot at Ohio State for a reason. With those weapons, that's what Ohio State wants to do. They want to throw the football. So if they're allowed to do that, they're going to carve Tennessee up and down this field. They need to find a way to affect Will Howard, get pressure on him to help that secondary out, because I would love to sit here and say that, hey, our boy Boo Carter is going to rise to the challenge, but he is still a freshman. He's done a lot of really good things this year. He's come a long way. He's a hard hitter. He can make his presence felt. He can also be dynamic in the return game as well. That's another element to this game that he can also affect. But if you leave him on an island, he gets put on an island. If they decide to all out blitz one time and they pick it up, I pray for him and his family.
Same. It's going to hurt.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be hurt. Special teams are going to really matter. That's a good point too. I think you're going to, as excited as we are, and we think there's going to be points scored. You mentioned it. It's going to be cold, bad winds, all that stuff could all happen up there. Special teams, field position, it's all going to run through them. What I'm worried about is, what if Ohio State's running backs finally show up and become like two of the best 5 running backs in the league? Because that's where I get worried about is, what is Tennessee going to do when they have to really cover? Because now James Pierce is taking a little hesitation on overdoing it, because there's going to be some draws. They're going to try to really throw Tennessee off, or they have to stay at home a little bit more. not come after, no pinning their ears back. Just worry that if their run game gets going,
I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about that because they have, despite the talent that they have in the backfield, Chase, like I feel like they've underperformed all year long.
Yes, they have. And that's the thing is when you got Quinshon Judkins, you're like, oh my word, Ole Miss just gave us this guy. That's how you felt about it. And now him and Trey Miller, like it's not converted to what you thought was going to happen. It's not as bad as you're going to make it out to be, but compared to expectations, kind of like Will Howard, it's been meh.
Yeah.
It's just been meh compared to what you thought was going to happen out of this because it's star power all over, but the trenches are going to matter so much. So much.
You thought these guys might have each 1,000 yards rushing this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought they were just going to run
Easily.
this. They were going to run around the yard, and it wouldn't even be close. I really didn't know who would beat them, like talent-wise on offense. I was like, hey, I don't really care what your defense looks like. You knew it's Ohio State. They're going to have 3 or 4 guys that are just going to be absolute studs. But even to that point, you knew they could just outscore whoever. It just hasn't. It's obviously been that way for the most part, but not to the effect you'd hoped it would.
Yeah. And you look at some of the other games. You look at some of the other games that Ohio State has played this year in terms of high-scoring affairs. You look at comparable opponents, right? Like that's all we can kind of really go off of.
Yeah.
That game against Oregon, they put up a lot of points, but Tennessee's defense is better than Oregon's. That game was also at Oregon in better weather. I just don't feel like they're going to be as dynamic from an offensive standpoint. Now, I'm not saying that Tennessee is Oregon. Like, that's where I think the rubber meets the road of, like, I feel like this game could end up like 21-20. This game could end up like 21-17, like something along those lines either way. And I had asked Grant to look up the weather for Columbus. Do you have the weather for us?
I do. On Saturday, it's going to be a high of 29 degrees.
Wait, say that again.
Go ahead.
On Saturday, it's going to be a high of
Ooh, that's cold, brother.
Yikes.
29.
Wow.
Dang. That's going to hurt when you get hit, bro.
Do we have wind? Do you have wind on that at all?
Intern Grant did not know he was going to be the weatherman when he came on the show.
It says there should be about an 11 mile per hour wind.
11 mile an hour winds. Okay. That's not bad.
That's not terrible.
No, but it's something. It might be enough. And I know Tennessee's had, just minor kicking issues. Minor kicking issues. Ohio State's nothing to write home about as well in terms of kicking. Their kicker, what's his name? I was just looking at it earlier. It's Jaden Fielding.
Yeah.
He's made every single extra point he's had this year. 54 for 54.
Don't say that.
54 for 54. I'm reverse jinxing him right now.
If he misses one, I'm going to lose it on you.
Why? You want him to miss one?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused.
I'm not talking about Tennessee. No.
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to reverse jinx.
Reverse jinx. My bad.
Take a breath. Yeah, it'll be okay. Bad. 54 for 54 for Jaden Fielding. He's 9 for 12 in field goals this year. He has not attempted a 50-yarder.
They don't take a lot of field goals, I guess.
They sure don't.
I didn't think about that. 12's not that many.
No.
12's not that many compared to what you think. What? Because I was kind of thinking when you talk about the score, I kind of feel the same way. I really, in my heart, feel like this is like a 27-23 type of game. But I also felt the same way about Oregon and Penn State. You did? Yeah, I actually thought, I was like, I don't think Penn State can score, but I thought they'd keep it close. I thought they would kind of slow them down and like give them a defensive battle. And I thought Bill Carter would kind of get after Dylan Gabriel, like all those little things that you'd think from star power. But would you be more surprised if this was like basically like an Arkansas game where it's 19-13, or if it was like 49-42?
Don't you dare put that
what
out
would
there.
You be more surprised by? 49-42?
49-42 for sure.
You'd be surprised. Like
I'd be shocked if the game was that level of scoring.
With all the talent, you'd be more surprised. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Would you?
I don't know. I guess the Oregon-Penn State game shook me in a lot of ways.
You're just shook to the core right now.
It shook me in a lot of ways because I did not believe Penn State could score that many points. So, to be honest with you, I was like, I can't believe that's a real thing. But that might be one of those games too where it's going to live up to the hype. Do you remember the October 12th and October 19th? You're thinking, no way those days could live up to the hype. Hot damn, they did, boys.
I know.
They did. Those were so good. I think this Saturday has that same effect. Tomorrow we're going to get to watch the game together, battle for Indiana. But Saturday night, I hope, lives up to the hype. It's going to mean a lot. I hope we just kind of get that show of somebody's going to come out, and I hope this is like both teams hit each other in the mouth and just keep hitting each other in the mouth type of deal.
So would you rather see a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game?
I'd rather see the high-scoring game. I'd like to see it from Tennessee, to be honest with you. I feel like we just hadn't opened it up. Like, we don't have – UTC, sorry. Was there for that me and GT. Like, that's all I got. UTEP. Like those games. Yeah. But outside of that, we've scored 33 times. My goodness, I forgot how bad Kent State was.
That's so bad. Yeah,
those first 3 games come out, we're averaging 65 points. And then you go 25, 14, 23, 24, 29, and then you finally get a 30-point game again.
Let me hit you with an interesting stat here. So, Tennessee, when it comes to Nico Iamaleava, they have the most wins in the SEC this year when he's thrown for less than 200 yards. They have 5 wins this year when he's thrown for less than 200 yards.
That doesn't seem like a real stat sometimes, You hear those things, you're like, how in the world? Wow. Okay. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't need to throw for 300 and 400 yards in this game.
No.
It needs to be defense, pound the rock, let Dylan Sampson eat, and hit a big shot or two. And honestly, I think the tight ends are going to be so integral in this game. They're going to be so integral. Like, over the middle, like, those guys are going to be so important to Nico Iamaleava having success. Whether it's, what is the Ethan Davis?
Yep.
Or Miles Kitselman.
Kitselman's been a big part of this offense.
He's been a really nice. He's got 4 tutties on the year.
Don't you love seeing a big H-back guy come in there? Like, he's kind of been the H-back. He ran that little fullback dive, and then he's kind of got a couple touchdowns here in the last 3 or 4 games. Like, I love seeing that. Love seeing the big fellas get out here and eat a little bit,
Yes.
But yeah, it's going to be very valuable.
Are you nervous about Nico? Are you confident in him? Like, what is your read on Nico Iamaleava going into this game? Like, what is your confidence level from 1 to 10? If we needed to rely on Nico Iamaleava to win the football game, what's your confidence level?
I'm trying to be nice, but I think I'm at a 6 or 6.5. I'm not super confident in this guy going on the road and taking over a game. You really don't want to do that just yet. We still have to remember, I know he sounds older. He feels like he's been there a while because we've been recruiting him for 15 years, it feels like. But he's still a redshirt freshman.
He is.
So that's the hard part. It's trying to keep that on tap and keep that in your mind because it's hard. It's tough to think about Nico in that way. But I don't want it to have to be in his hands multiple times. A couple drives, sure. But throughout the whole game, if we're not running the rock and he's got to throw for 40, 45 times a game, shit, we're in trouble, dude. Are you worried? What's your thought on it?
Oh, yeah. I probably would have about a 4 right now in terms of 1 to 10, in terms of Nico. My confidence in Nico to win us a football game, if it's on Nico's shoulders. I like his demeanor as a person, as a football player. He doesn't seem to get rattled. He doesn't seem to get too affected by making mistakes. But he needs to make smart plays. He needs to make good throws. He needs to connect on some deep shots because every once in a while, a couple times in a game, they're going to be there.
They're going to be there. He cannot keep missing those deep bombs.
He can't. I mean, Heupel is really good at scheming things up. Nico needs to execute. We've seen him miss time and time again. He's connected on some.
Yeah.
I get it. Look, we're sitting here as Jamokes talking about this football game.
Have never played a down of college
Never
football.
played a down of any I've never played a down of any organized football.
Well,
I'm saying me personally. Y'all probably have. You played football?
Played football in high school.
He played football in high school. Okay, so you didn't. Did you play? You didn't play football in high school.
No, I was just a basketball
player.
Just a basketball guy.
So like, I understand it's much easier said than done in terms of like hitting deep shots. That's low percentage shots. That's like, knock it here.
Well,
there we go.
There we go.
It's like asking a guy to like go out there and constantly hit deep threes from like 28 feet away.
Yeah.
Again, not everybody's Steph Curry, you know? So I understand it's a difficult thing to do, but
you don't want to have to solely rely on him.
He's a D1 quarterback at a very, very high level in a very big spot. You got a clean pocket. You got to be able to hit anybody. Squirrel White, Dante Thornton, Drew McCoy, Mike Matthews, anybody down the sideline in the middle of the field. I don't give a shit who it is. Somebody you've got to make a connection a couple of times. And if Nico can do that like 3 or 4 times in a game, Ohio State's going to be cooked. Because then you got to start respecting that, and you're lightening the box, and then Dylan Sampson's able to run. Like, that's a whole problem. You have to establish the run first. Allow, hey, look, the defenders are going to start creeping down a little bit. They're probably going to make Nico prove that he can hit those deep shots.
Hope so.
I hope
especially because I feel like we've missed them early. Don't you feel like on that first drive, Nico comes out, Hype schemes up, and I've seen it multiple times. Hype is schemed up back-to-back plays where he gets a deep shot, and either Nico's missed or the receivers dropped the ball. The connection just hasn't been there, and you know it's frustrating on both sides because Nico finally hits you, you drop it, or you get wide open and he misses you, and it's just like a back and forth in this tough relationship when you both trust each other. I feel like there's a lot of trust in Nico. You can feel like he's an adult in the room.
Yep.
He has been well groomed.
A young adult.
Yes, a young adult, but he definitely has that feel. Like after they beat Oklahoma, when he was the guy that walked up there and confidently gave Heupel the ball, it's like, this is for you, big dog. We did it for you. You know, that kind of stuff matters. But they're still like, come on, dog. You've got to hit this deep ball once. You've got to hit me there. And then Nico feels the same. He's like, I finally got it to you. Where are you at? Where are you at? And it's so frustrating watching this back and forth at times. And like you've mentioned, he has hit some.
Yep.
He doesn't miss every one.
No.
We just highlight the ones he's missed because that's what we do on Sports Talk. But for the most part, establish run early, but I think you have to hit the bombs early too. You can't miss those because those are going to be schemed up. That's what Heupel does. So come out and just capitalize one time.
How great would it be if Heupel came out and kind of surprised everybody, just let Nico let it rip right off the jump?
That would be actually a pretty big shock.
I mean, I would love it.
I think it would be
awesome. Like it would definitely surprise Ohio State. Now, again, if they're give them credit, I know Ohio State's got a good defense. I'm not sitting here knocking Ohio State's defense at all because that's why I think this game has a much higher probability to be a low-scoring affair than it does a high-scoring affair.
Yes,
I don't want to knock Ohio State's defense, but you have to know that, hey, look, their bread and butter. Ohio State's not dumb. Ryan Day, as much as we want to joke on him, he's not an idiot, right? He's not a dumb football guy. He's very smart. And he's got Chip Kelly. He's got very smart football people around him. They're one of the best programs in the country for a reason.
Yep.
They understand that Tennessee wants to run the football. If you go out there like heavy play action right off the jump, like in the first series of the game, like if they win the toss, I would love if Josh Heupel's like, F it, give me the ball. Yeah. I want to attack right now. You know, I'm a big Packers fan, so like I'm going to throw a Packers reference at you, but I've seen Matt LaFleur do that a little bit, and I really kind of like it. Everybody's like thinking, it's like, well, we're going to have the option. We can kind of double up at halftime. If we get the ball last and we score, then we get the ball first. And you know, I get all of that, but there is something to setting a tone in a football game that is a physical mindset, and your opponent's expecting you to run the football. Come out there, hard play action a little bit. Or I mean, maybe mess around, throw a flea flicker in there.
Something
Like,
special.
that would be fun. Like you were talking about earlier, like you have to throw some sort of wrinkle in there. Like throw a flea flicker on that first series, bro. Like that would be awesome. Like someone like double pass or something to like totally throw Ohio State off their game.
Yeah.
I would love that. Come on, Josh, make it happen. Don't leave anything out there.
Bring it this week, Hype.
Mhm.
Bring it this week. I know he said, I'm sure you saw in the press conference, he sat up there and he was talking about, we're not going to show anything different. I'm like, I think that's a bunch of bull crap.
Oh, of course.
That's a bunch of bull crap, Josh. You can sit up there and act confident and say you're doing this. And it's like, you're not going to see anything different. I can't wait to see what he's got drawn up. Because I think I'm with you. I think you're going to have to get a little creative this week. This is probably, besides Georgia, the best defense you're going to play all year. And I was just looking at their draft prospects here, which I was surprised. I forgot how many good wide receivers there are coming out again this year. Emeka Egbuka is your 25th ranked prospect of next year's draft, depending on what you're looking at. But Jack Sawyer, Tyreek Williams, and JT, all on the defensive front for them are top 60 draft picks.
You got to watch out for Jack Sawyer.
That's a bad man.
John Campbell has 11 penalties called against him this year. And they've done a really good job at attacking weak spots in an opponent's offensive line. And the tackles haven't been great for Tennessee this year. The guards have been good.
Yes.
Mays at center's been good. But the tackles haven't been fantastic. Like, that's what I'm really nervous about when it comes to Tennessee. I'm really nervous that they're going to attack John Campbell, force him into some holds, and that's going to kill some drives for us. Like, penalties can really put you behind the sticks and then put a lot of pressure on Nico Ilamaliava. And then the defensive line is able to pin their ears back and get after you. Like, that is one of my biggest nightmares when it comes to this football game. They have to find a way to maybe add some extra protection in there. Maybe leave Ethan Davis, some Miles Kitselman, maybe leave one of the other running backs, not Dylan Sampson so much. Leave some of those other guys out there to give you a little extra protection. Get a chip by one of the tight ends. Get a chip by one of the wide receivers. Do something to help out on that side of the football. Again, you identify a weakness along your offensive line. You know the opponent's smart. They're going to attack. They have the pieces to attack. You just alluded to it.
Yep.
You got to watch out for Jack Sawyer. And you have to be ready for that. Like, don't get caught with your pants down. Anybody on the Tennessee coaching staff.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try to take advantage. We've seen Nico at times. He gets a little amped up on these road games. Listen, again, not Division I college football players, but for the most part, you see a lot of quarterbacks get amped up, but it takes him a minute to get there. They're going to try to take advantage of that. Corner blitzes, things like that. Like you mentioned, you got to stay ready.
Yeah.
You got to stay ready because this is going to be a creative defense, I think, as well. This is a very, very pissed off football team. For Tennessee, you're doubting in your mind that they're going to be just crumbled after Michigan. Maybe they will be, but I don't think they will be. You've had 2 weeks to sulk on it. It doesn't seem – I know we make out the Ryan Day thing pretty badly, but it doesn't feel like it from – you've not heard anything bad from, like, the locker room stuff, or they don't hate Ryan Day.
No.
From what I've seen, I've looked into it. I'm like, surely there's just not like this big hate fest, and you're not feeling that. Nobody's saying that on any sports talk, or I'm sure there's a couple writers out there that are just trying to poke the bear, but for the most part, you're hearing Ryan Day is still a leader in that clubhouse in a lot of ways.
I'm sure there's a lot of fans that would want him
Of course.
out the door.
We're the worst fan base in the world, but I love us all at the same time. It's one of those things where you're going to love them and hate them. But for Day, I still think he's got those guys in a good mindset of like, we can still win this. I have to win this. He has to go, in my opinion, I think he has to win a national championship or he's out. Or very close.
I was going to say, you just examine the bracket. I know we've talked about it, but you examine the bracket and it's like this side of the bracket it's all stupid. It's like you got to face Ohio State. You win that. Okay, you got number 1 Oregon. You win that. What do you got? Texas, potentially, or you think Clemson? I heard that earlier today.
Yeah, I had to do something fun.
Yeah, of course. A Texas or a Clemson team, whatever it may be, or whoever comes out of that side of the bracket. And then potentially like a beat up Georgia or Penn State. I don't know. I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, maybe you get Cam's, Scattaboo or whatever, and Levitt with Arizona State,
but it's doubtful.
I don't know. I mean, shoot, they're exciting. I can't wait to see Arizona State play in the college football playoff, regardless of who they play, whether it's Texas or Clemson. I think that's going to be a fun game.
I'll ask both you guys. This is a good one. I saw an article on The Athletic. It's like talking about which team you would jump on if your team's already lost. Sorry, intern Grant. If your team is already lost, which team would you pick?
Which team would I pick? I think I would have to go Georgia, honestly.
Ew.
The favorite.
Are you an Alabama fan?
I am.
If you were just like arbitrarily just going to jump on a fan base, like you would just run to the Georgia train right now, or are you going to go?
I think I would go with Georgia, honestly. But like y'all were saying, I agree with everything you've been saying so far. The Ohio State-Tennessee game is going to be really close. But I think if I had to pick one for that one, I'd go Ohio State.
Okay. I get it. Talent-wise. If you're just like an arbitrary fan, G, your team's out. You had a bad year. You're 6-6. You're, I don't know, maybe not Michigan. You cheer for a Liberty. We'll just say that one. You get to pick any of these teams just for
UConn,
fun.
I'm a UConn fan. 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5. Solid bowl games, baby.
I'm excited
bowl
about
games.
Who would I root for?
Who would you root for? This is a fun one. Like that's why like an Arizona State would be fun because you got to win one game and then you're in the Final Four.
Yeah, no, it would have to be. I personally love underdogs. Being a lifelong Mets fan and a Knicks fan, I understand what it means to be an underdog. So I have an affinity for underdogs. So I'm either going Boise State, simply because I love Ashton Genty. I love the blue turf. That's one of my favorite fields and games to watch in the entire college football. And then Arizona State. They've been an incredible story. Like nobody saw them coming.
Nobody
in college football. I don't think anybody anticipated them winning the Big 12 and them getting a bye in the very first college football playoff.
Even like in week 11, nobody was like, Arizona State. They're like, maybe. But at best, you were a maybe. And then they just kept on winning.
Their head coach is fun. You love Scattaboo. He's white lightning back there. And then Levitt is fun to watch. He can run. He can throw. Like
that is the most exciting team to like pick up on. Like, you want a dog.
Yeah.
Them in Boise. Like Genty, you want to cheer for Genty. I love the Heisman presentation. Like I was a big fan of him already. Love Travis Hunter too. Like whoever won that, didn't care. The good point was, as long as one of those two won it, it didn't matter to me. But
do you guys feel like that Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman? Is that fair to say?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I would not have been upset if he did win it. I would have totally understood if he won it. Mm-hmm. Because you're talking about a guy that literally carried his team to a first-round bye.
Yeah.
Colorado they didn't make the playoff.
Yeah.
Did they? No, they didn't make the playoff.
They didn't.
Sure didn't.
Travis Hunter's fun. I mean, he plays both ways. It's exciting. I haven't seen it done since Charles Woodson, and Woodson didn't even do as much as Travis Hunter's doing. I get it. But without Ashton Genty, like Boise State would not anywhere close to being there. At least Colorado still has Shedeur Sanders, and they have some good pieces there. It seems like Boise has Ashton Genty, and I know they have some other nice pieces, but like really Ashton Genty is like, hey, boys, I'm going to put y'all on my back, and I'm going to run you to the college football playoff.
Yeah, it felt to me that I'm kind of the same way. Travis just did what nobody else will ever do or may do. But
ooh,
what's that?
Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought, and then I'm going to give you some news here.
Well,
breaking news.
For me, if Genty's not going to win it, we may never see a running back ever win it again. That's my thought on that. It's like you kind of set a precedent because this is going to be the closest you get to breaking records. And, I mean, he smashed Ingram's and Henry's, like, ran all over the yard and brought a team to a top 4 seed, air quotes, into the playoffs. You got a first-round bye. So if you can't do that, you can't lead your team like that, it's going to be really hard to get a running back. You're going to have a really down year as far as Heisman candidates for somebody like Genty to win it. That's
Well,
gonna
what
be
I'm saying.
tough.
Like any other year, if there was no Travis Hunter this year, Ashton Genty would have won it.
Yeah, easy.
I agree.
But there was a Travis Hunter.
I think there's a possibility that we see somebody do something similar to what Ashton Genty or Barry Sanders did.
That's gonna be
Look,
tough.
Ashton
dog.
Genty did it. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying like it's going to happen every year, but like
Somebody
in the
could.
next 50 years, I could see a running back doing something similar, probably more so than Travis Hunter, because we really haven't ever seen what Travis Hunter did,
Yeah.
ever. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's impossible for that to happen. Like it's kind of the new age of athletes nowadays, where you see a lot of guys, especially in high school. You could talk to this, Grant, like playing both ways. What position did you play?
Back in high school, I played wide receiver and DB.
Okay, yeah, there you go. See, you know,
Our
you look like a quarterback.
our Travis Hunter.
You look like a quarterback. You just got a quarterback face.
He does have a quarterback
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just looks like a quarterback.
Definitely went homecoming king and
All that.
all the good stuff. What's the breaking news?
All right, breaking news here. Speaking on your Georgia Bulldogs,
My Georgia Bulldogs.
this just in 6 minutes ago, Georgia is preparing to play the entire college football playoff without starting quarterback Carson Beck, according to
Wow.
ESPN sources. Should we pour some out for Joseph or?
Yeah. Sorry, bro.
That was the result of that hand injury, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
The UCL, bro.
So-
That's another part that makes that bracket so much easier on that side.
Yeah.
I liked Gunner. It was a fun story. From what I saw, that's going to be pretty easy to figure out. He's going to run a lot, and
Georgia's in trouble, bro. Like
that's a big trouble.
I don't think they're going to the college football playoff this year. Like I don't the national championship. They're in the college football playoff. I don't think they're going to make it very far in the college football playoff. Their running backs have been disappointing. Their wide receivers sometimes look like they have feet for hands. And then you've got a backup quarterback. I understand their defense is good, but it's not what we've seen in years past. Like everything is pointing to this team not making a run, but some way, somehow, they could find a way to beat either Indiana or Notre Dame. I'm sure.
Good.
Like they might win one game, but again, their path is so much easier.
It is. And on that far side, you're looking at the Notre Dame Indiana game. You're either getting a Notre Dame team who's very hyped up and who's going to travel well, and that defensive front is going to be nasty against Georgia. Like they're going to have Gunner out, man. Like I don't know how he's going to run away from a lot of those guys. That secondary is incredible. So for Gunner, dude, you're just going to have to make every big throw you possibly can, man. And I worry about that. But if it's on the flip side and you get Rourke in Indiana, all that momentum running into that bowl game is going to be terrifying for Georgia. And I don't know. Are you like a rest versus rust guy, or do you think it matters at all?
I do think there's a little bit of a rust factor that can play into it. But in this case, for Georgia, I think it plays into their favor because I think you need all the time in the world to get Gunner ready.
Yeah.
As many practice reps as you can get this man, I think is going to be beneficial for Georgia. So the rest, in my opinion, will help them more than it'll hurt them because their quarterback needs the reps. He needs the extra reps.
Yeah. And I think for them is with Beck going out, I don't think it was for any other reason than hey, it's my time to step up. When you saw Etienne take over in that second half, I was like, oh, man, they woke up the bear. He's been good, don't get me wrong, but he was great. He was the guy they had hoped they were going to get with all that NIL money.
Yes.
Like, that's the guy you wanted. So maybe you wake up that bear. Maybe you're going to have to be very creative if you're Kirby in that offense because Gunner is relatively limited. Like, don't get me wrong. He's like an all-time leading passer in Georgia and all that stuff. He's very talented. But for right now in this level of football, he's still got a lot of work to do. So I don't know. They're a very interesting case for me because they could literally just run through the college football playoff because you got a Notre Dame team who can only run the football as well, it feels like, and Indiana may just be a weaker competition that got up for one big game and they're not traveling far from home and Notre Dame and blah, blah, blah. So you could see Georgia just going ahead and waxing them. And then your next opponents are going to be Boise State, SMU, or Penn State. So it's like the path is there for them, even when they're down. On the other side, it's just tough.
It almost doesn't seem fair.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Did you also hear that Tennessee will be featured in a new Netflix series in on the 2024 SEC football season?
Yes. It's going to be Hard Knocks-ish, I think, or something along those lines. I'm very excited about this. Because Bama turned it down, LSU, I think, and there's like 4 or 5 teams that turned it down, which I get. You're like, dude, I don't want all this.
like, yeah, bring on the cameras. Let's go.
Yeah, he's like,
put the spotlight on my program.
We're about to be recruiting, boys and girls.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
We're about to be recruiting.
Yeah.
Especially like the personalities, like Samson, Nico, like all these guys, you're like, I want to go play. And Samson's going to sell it like, you can come beat me.
Yeah.
You can come make some real cash for your right now in the NIL world and for your future, because look at me as a featured back in an offense that I've just waited for. Like he's been a number 2 guy or a number 3 guy for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And now it's his time to cook, and he sure has.
He sure has. You know, they just paved the way for him to just absolutely tear it up. As you mentioned, Jabari Small was there, Jalen Wright was there in his way, and now it's just like, all right, everybody's gone. It's like the party in the Red Sea or the Orange Sea.
Yeah.
And then Dylan has just run right through it.
Yeah. And I don't know what we're going to get out of Bishop in the future. He may be another great one.
Not worried about that yet.
Yeah. But,
Not worried about that yet.
Yeah, Saturday night, dude.
I got a couple other stats for you when it comes to
throw them out, dude.
When it comes to Tennessee and in this matchup. Before we make our official picks, I know Grant has already made his official pick. He's going with the Buckeyes.
Intern Grant.
Do you want trying to give you okay. I'm gonna give you a gosh. You want a good stat or a bad stat first?
Go give me bad. Give me the veggies first.
It's not good for Tennessee. So if you're a Tennessee fan, close your ears real quick. They have lost 21 straight road games against top 10 teams.
Yep.
The last win was at number 10 Georgia in 2006. That is the 4th longest streak in all the power conferences.
Streak's got to come to an end, baby.
Sometime, some way, somehow. They did in 21, 22, whatever it was.
Yep.
22 for Tennessee in a couple of different ways, but yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
All right. What's the good
one?
Good dessert.
This is not just about Tennessee. This is about the SEC as a conference. Over the last 5 years, the SEC is 15-8 against the Big Ten.
Yeah.
In general. And they're 12-5 against the Big Ten in postseason games.
Wow.
So
I'm going to look this up.
Tennessee has potentially an edge there as an SEC team. I'm just excited to see them all. Got the Christmas music bumping in here. I love this.
Yeah.
Are you like Christmas music, Grant?
I'm a big fan of it. Yeah,
big
it really
fan.
Gets you in the holiday spirit.
It really does, right? I love it. I love it.
I was trying to find this. I saw this earlier. Oh yeah, Ohio State is 5-14 against the SEC all time in bowl games.
5-14
in bowl games. But that record drops to 13. Okay, blah blah blah. Let's see. I was trying to think.
They haven't beaten an SEC team since 2014.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. They beat Bama in the Sugar Bowl. That was the last time they beat an SEC team.
I saw another one, and I may botch this. I think Ryan Day is like 2-12 or 2-10 against SEC teams. Something crazy like that, 1-10. It's really bad. I remember like looking at it, and I was like, I'm going to save that. I didn't save it.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't save it.
That's okay.
Yeah. I had a baby in my arm, okay?
Yeah, it's totally understandable.
Dad life. But yeah. God, if Ryan Day loses this game, man. If Ryan Day loses this game, I feel sorry for Columbus, or a.k.a. Neyland North. You guys see that? That was great.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep. Do you think there's some contingency of Buckeye fans that are hoping that they lose this game because they just want Ryan Day out of there so badly?
As somebody who has wanted to lose to get rid of a coach, yes. Yes.
I don't think Ryan Day's a bad coach, but
yeah. And I'm sure I asked this. I'm like, well, who else could you get? I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there.
Could you promote Chip Kelly?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. They better go score a lot. They better score a lot and lose. That's all I'll say. Because that Michigan game really, he took about as much flack, I think, from the fan base as Ryan Day did, because they're like, you played into their hands.
Yeah.
You tried to beat them the Michigan way.
Yeah.
And they just big boyed us.
Idiot. Anybody should be fired. It should be Chip Kelly, potentially.
Well, he said he's been in the lab working. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. It will be tough. It will be very tough.
He's had many failed experiments in terms of head coaching opportunities that he's been in the lab for. He still hasn't been able to figure out. So that doesn't scare me too much that Chip Kelly's been in the lab.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's going to bring it, but I don't know how good that bring it's going to be. This defensive front for Tennessee is going to respond well, and I think they responded well against Vandy and a couple teams afterwards, obviously like UTEP. But after that Georgia game, they're like, hey, man, we can't play like that again. This is going to be their game. This is their game to step up, show out. Pierce is going to be a guy. He's another one. He has fallen off the trail of a number one pick pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And he's still going to be a top 15, top 20 guy in the draft. But you want to go make some money? Here you go, man. Here you go. Show out against one of the best teams in the country and a team you have a big advantage in Ohio State up front right now. They're hurting. So take advantage quickly, early, and often. I'm going to take Tennessee 28-20 over the Buckeyes.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about this matchup. Really dissected it from a lot of different ways. And to me, it really comes down to Tennessee's strengths. I just want to believe in them more, that they'll be able to take advantage of Ohio State's weaknesses more than Ohio State will be able to take advantage of Tennessee's weaknesses. And that Buckeye fan base is hurting right now. They got beaten down on their home field by Michigan. They're still licking their wounds. They're still going to be thinking about that Michigan game. They're still going to be thinking about how Michigan planted their flag on their field, which is now like a federal offense or something like that.
They're trying to get that. They're trying to get that pass. That's the weakest thing. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. And that just
don't
shows,
lose. Just don't lose.
Exactly. It shows how weak of a fan base that Ohio State fan base is and how mentally soft they personally are. So that being said, Tennessee's going to win at 21-17.
A good game. What's your score prediction, Grant? You picked Ohio State. What's your score prediction?
I don't know, Greg. I think I'm going to have to disagree with you on this because, if you're looking back on that Michigan game, it was tough, but now we're in postseason and everybody's 0-0, I think these guys are going to come out there, and I think they're going to play their hardest. And I feel like the Buckeyes are probably going to get it done.
What's your score?
I'm going to go Ohio State 21-20.
Dang, got a battle.
Nail biter.
A defensive battle. I don't know if that would get the casual fan super excited, but as a football dude, 21-20 would be pretty sick. Because I imagine that's a lot of running the football. Oh man. I want it to be great. I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. Either way, either you're going to get Ohio State fans didn't sell their tickets and all the stories are make believe and the 35% of tickets sold are from the state of Tennessee and all that stuff is just a bunch of malarkey, or you're going to get half that fan base. It's going to feel like a neutral site game, which that would be incredible. To watch Vol Twitter do what they have done over the last week gives me hope that we still got it in the Twitterverse.
Oh, we do.
Still got it.
We do.
So it's been awesome to watch.
Strong.
And then back and forth, like Ohio State's brought it too, but Tennessee changing Apple Maps to Neyland North and all those little things, man. This has been a great back and forth pregame, and I know game day's hyped up about it, but
they'll be there.
Yeah,
they will be there.
Friday in Indiana and Gary, or late Fort Wayne. I can't remember what they're. I think they're Gary. Either way.
Somewhere in the cold. out
Somewhere
there
up
in
north,
Indiana.
northern Indiana, whatever Notre Dame is. Beautiful campus, it looks like. And then you're traveling over to Columbus. That'd be a sick weekend, dude.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, it would be.
Bucket list, guys. Bucket
Yeah.
list.
Jamarius really wants to go.
Would you pay the average ticket price of, I think it's $295 I saw yesterday.
No. Not to sit in
What's
29 degree
yeah.
cold weather. No.
is
or
that
indoor,
is
I
that
wouldn't.
is the cold, the 29-degree weather game, somebody has to give me tickets type of game to go to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch it on TV. I don't care if I'm soft. Oh, I get it. I know I'm from. Oh, you're from Connecticut. You're from the Northeast. Yeah, I get it. I hate the cold. I just
You
don't like
do
it.
not like the cold.
I don't like the cold. Why do you
Nope.
think I live in the South now? I don't like the cold.
Welcome down here, buddy. We're glad to have you.
Look. If it's like an iconic venue, if it's Lambeau Field, and I'm going to my first game, yeah, I want it to be cold.
One day.
I went. I mean,
yeah, you went to
I've
Lambeau.
been.
You
I've
have
been.
been to Lambeau.
I've been. It was freezing. It was early December, a
Oh,
light snow,
gosh.
5 degrees. You crack a beverage, and it's already starting to crystallize. I was so cold. I had so many layers on, I couldn't even count. That in the Chicago NFC Championship game for the Packers to go to the Super Bowl. The only time Aaron Rodgers has made a Super Bowl was when I was in the building in an NFC Championship game. So I'm not saying I'm the good luck charm, but I might be the good luck charm.
He hadn't done it without you.
He hasn't. That's what I'm saying. You
Done it
know?
without you.
So yeah, no, that's for something like that, I will risk the cold for. But for Tennessee, Ohio State in like a first round matchup, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
For a national championship game, okay, yeah, maybe I'd go to that. Even a semifinal game, I would potentially think about going.
That would be one. Miggy was talking about this to me the other day. Is like, do you just sell out and go to the Rose Bowl if they win? That's iconic to me. To me, I was on the bandwagon of I wish they could do the Rose Bowl for every national championship. It's the best setting in college football. It's pretty good weather no matter what. Yeah, it's all the way
Yeah.
out there, but it's like the perfect venue.
It is.
So that's the one I was like, Daddy can't do that right now.
Not
We
right
are not in the position to do
Yeah.
that. My little girl will not allow that.
not. Maybe
It's-
eventually.
Yeah, maybe not my little girl. It's my wife. They would definitely be like, no.
Gracie Lee Green would be like, "Hey, Daddy, go ahead, have fun." I'll hang out, Mama.
Dad was so cool.
Yeah.
He went to all this stuff. Mom's like, no, he wasn't. He spent $6,000 to sit in the bleachers. But anyways, yeah,
Yikes.
that would be tough. The at-home experience has gotten too good.
It's way too good.
Couches have gotten better. TVs have gotten way better. The way they shoot the damn thing has gotten better.
Your couch game at your house is next level. Like between the two couches that you have,
Yeah. The
Golly.
bookshelf is coming. The bookshelf double TV stack
Is it?
is coming. Eventually.
Yeah.
We have to save our shekels a few
Yeah.
more months, and then we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do that.
it's not like you just bought a new house or you had
Yeah.
a baby. Like,
Yes. Appreciate all the boys for giving the diapers. That's been a big help. I didn't realize. My gosh, how do people do it with like 3 kids that are like under 4 years old? I'll never understand. You're just barely scraping pennies at this point.
Yeah.
There's so many diapers and wipes. My gosh, dude.
I can't even imagine
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Can't even
But
imagine.
anything for him. Anything for him.
anything.
Just they get me. She can squeal. She can whine for 17 hours. She gives me one smile. We're back. Baby. We're back.
It's like golf. It's like you hit one good shot and it's just like, I'm in.
You're right. Having a child is
It's
like
like
golf.
golf.
You just need one smile or one good shot,
One good shot.
and you're in.
One good putt. The rest of the day can be frustrating. You can shank the ball over the place. You can listen to her whine and complain and scream and cry. And she gives you one little smile for 5 minutes. She's quiet. This is all worth it.
It's all worth it.
And good bath time.
And a good bath time. Gosh, a good bath time. She loves a bath. Loves to be warm.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't?
How long's it been since taking a bath?
Not long. Like, you be talking like bath and like bathe myself bath. Like,
Yeah.
I've gotten in a bath with a significant other and like we've hung out in the bath and
No, you just solo taking a bath.
me solo taking a bath. A long time. I've sat in like a cold tub in the bath.
Yeah.
But I haven't like physically bathed myself in a bath in a very long time.
Yeah. Man, I was trying to think. I can't even remember. I can't even remember.
Well, we're all taller, longer men. Like, we don't fit in a standard bathtub very well.
No. No.
It's not the most comfortable. Like, all these women that are smaller and shorter, like, oh yeah, I love to take baths. Well, I get it. Like, you fit better in a bathtub than our 6'2", 6'3" frame.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more difficult for us. I did wake up. I've been doing some sleep studying, and apparently it's really good for you to get like natural light in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So I just went outside and I was like, I'm gonna spend the first 20 minutes of my day in the hot tub outside. I read a couple of a chapter of a book.
That's a great way to start the day, dude.
Great way to start the day. It was fantastic.
Have you seen any impact?
I literally just started yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I listened to a podcast. I talked to my buddy Turtle. We were talking all about it. I listened to a podcast.
Who'd you listen to? Do you remember?
Huberman Lab.
Oh, yeah. Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
Me and Joseph are big on that guy.
Fantastic.
Smartest guy. That feels
So
like in the
smart.
world.
I feel so dumb listening to him. I don't know anything about the world or anything along with it. So I'm now going to get myself some blue light glasses to wear like at home, like when it starts to get dark out.
Yeah. That's a great way to go. I've not done that part yet. The grounding thing. Cold immersion's big. I realized that. I was like, oh yeah, it does wake you up for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on that. I can't do that.
Cousin John, I saw him out the other day. I guess it was a couple weeks ago when it was like 22 degrees outside. He's got the big ice tub thingy, and he goes out there, cracks the glass, sitting in the tub overlooking the mountains.
Oh,
I was like, buddy,
I
don't think you're going to need your vasectomy after that one. You know, kind of one of those deals. So I was like, I'm proud of you. That's awesome. And the fam have really gotten in the cold tub. I have not done that much.
Would you get one of those? Like, I was thinking about asking for one of those for like Christmas.
Yeah, dude. Even like the inflatable ones are nice.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I would do it you've got the room. You got a perfect place because you can like hop right back in.
Yeah, but like
if you have nothing else that you really want, I would get that.
My Christmas list is already sent it to Santa Claus.
Okay.
You know what I did ask for was like, I saw this on Instagram. An Instagram ad got me. It was like this like bag that you fill up with water and you put it in the freezer and you put it into like a bathtub and it's supposed to like make the bathtub incredibly cold like an ice pack.
Send that to me. I want to see what that even looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that is one I think I would like to try because you boys back running hardcore.
Yeah.
And the Achilles gets worn down really fast. So the ice has definitely helped. I put that on the old calves, the knees, but it's tough, man, to wake up and hop in 30-degree water.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It is not fun at all.
Not fun.
But that may be one that if you want to find a good one on sale, I would do it. I'd probably do it, especially if you can commit to it. That's a good one. I've seen a lot of people like take like the year-long challenge or whatever, and like I'm going to do this 5 times a week or blah blah blah. It's a good one to do. G's ultimate health year in 2025.
I'm trying.
I love it.
I've been trying to do some contrast because I feel like my hamstrings don't recover that well after my back surgery, especially because I've been hitting the hammies hard. And I'll try contrast. I'll go hot 3 minutes, cold 1 minute. Hot 3 minutes, cold 1 minute. I'll do that like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But I'm having to like inch my way through the house and like leaving water all over the place.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Tough.
It's all right. Keep working on it, buddy.
I'm trying.
All right, let's talk about this Texas Clemson game real quick.
That's right. We're on a podcast still. Are we talking football?
Welcome to podcast. We can talk about whatever the heck we want to. Yeah. Texas Clemson. I feel like this one's kind of been brushed under the radar a little bit. Tennessee, Ohio State has been so massive for the Saturday night. And then Friday night's still fun because it's a solo game. It's the battle for Indiana. Underdog story. And then you get Notre Dame on at the same time. Like, you're getting a lot of pageantry in that game and big ticket sales.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Tennessee is going to be the Scarlets and the battle on Twitter. Those first 2 games really feel like they're getting brushed under the rug. And Texas and Clemson, despite being football powerhouses and a viewership standpoint, don't feel like they're getting enough limelight.
No, they're not.
And that's probably because Dabo Sweeney drives everybody nuts. Somehow
for sure.
Clemson has made it.
Yeah, and like and Texas is kind of like the college version of Dallas Cowboys. I just feel like everybody hates Texas. Like I don't enjoy Texas. Like I don't root for them. I do have a friend who's their strength and conditioning coach, but I don't actively root for Texas. I don't want to root for either of these teams. I wish there was a way they could tie.
Yes. Both lose.
Yeah, can they both lose and just be out of the college football playoff, please?
Yeah.
Let's just let Arizona to get another Arizona State to get another
situation. I think.
Exactly.
This is definitely a game where I hate both opponents equally. Like Texas, I'm horns down all the way. And then Clemson, as an Alabama fan, I have a deep hatred for them.
You definitely
as well.
have a deep hatred. Yes.
So, honestly, I agree with you guys. I think if they could both lose this game, that'd be perfect.
Bingo. See, I knew we liked this kid. I knew we liked this guy. Do you feel like – do you have trust in Quinn Ewers to go very far in this playoff?
Not really. I feel like I almost have – I can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth.
Oh, boy.
But I almost feel like I have more trust in Cade Klubnik.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think
just feels gross.
Cade has been cooking, bro.
He has been cooking.
He's looked like the player they thought he was going to be coming out of high school.
Yes.
For the first time. And
yes,
we got to watch that firsthand last year in the bowl game. I was like, oh, Cade's terrible.
He sucked.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like I feel like the way we almost thought about Bo Nix too when he was at Auburn. And then he got to Oregon and it was just like, wait, isn't Bo supposed to suck?
Yeah.
And they have 21-10 right now in the Chargers, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He's actually a decent NFL quarterback. Like, what?
When you find the right system,
yeah,
and you get the right coaching, it's amazing how good of a quarterback you can be.
Really, truly amazing.
And Dabo frustrates the hell out of me. He really does. Like, it's just so cliche, and it's all the things, and he does it for everybody. And I know that's not a narrative; it's new. And Texas just has that thing about them. Like, they thought they were the hottest ticket in town coming in. They got this pretty easy path, and you lose to your only ranked team all year in Georgia twice. Game was close, second one, but may have been because of quarterback injury.
Maybe.
I don't know. Something about them just doesn't feel like they're the fifth best team in this college football playoff.
Not really. I know their defense is ferocious, and
oh yeah, and they have talent. They're another one. They've got loads of NFL talent.
They sure do.
They always will. It's Texas. Texas forever, brother. You know, it's one of those kind of deals.
Some way, somehow, they're going to find a way to beat Clemson. I just believe it. I
think I'm the opposite. I feel like
I know you are.
This is one of those moments where I think Texas has the biggest letdown potential because I just have no belief. Because I don't think Sark's going to let Quinn loose, but I also don't think he's going to cut him out early enough. Like, he's not going to let Arch take over early enough. And it may not even be Arch's game, but I think he's going to hold on to Quinn too long if he gets in trouble. I think the Clemson defense has played a lot better. I think their wide receivers have come along, and they're young, but they're still very talented.
Yeah.
Cade's looks so good. I just have a feeling Texas has the most letdown potential because I think they're very lackluster when it comes to scoring against decent teams, not even great teams.
You're not wrong about that.
I just think they have huge letdown potential. But I feel like you have the same thought about Clemson.
Look, Cade Klubnik has played some decent games, and I know he played really well against SMU. 4 touchdowns, no picks. But let's talk about what he did against a higher level defense in South Carolina. 24 for 36, 280 yards, no touchdowns and an interception.
Yeah. But
Texas's defense is closer to what South Carolina puts out there than what SMU puts out there. And for that sole fact, Texas is going to win this game. It might be close, but Texas is going to win this game.
Yeah. But
That's my feeling.
the thought I had too on that game was, as great as Sellers was, like Cade did pretty similar game. Like, I mean, Lenore's like wound up with 166 yards on the ground, but both of them had two rushing touchdowns. Words are hard. 2 rushing touchdowns, and ran the ship against 2 very good defenses. I think At home.
This is not at home.
No, this is not at home. This is at Texas. Austin's gonna be rocking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just, a good Florida State defense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You try to find some comparisons, but
you do. It's hard with these teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the ACC for you.
Yeah, but then you go look at Texas's record against. Let's see. Georgia's just very hard to compare because I do feel like they've had a few games where they've just not played up their potential defensively.
Yep.
But they just turned it on against Quinn. And he just worries me, man. He just worries me. Like, even the Texas A&M game, 17 for 28, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Quinn's not great.
Quinn's not great. Lost fumble. The turnovers are scary.
I'm making it more about their defense than about Quinn Ewers. They're going to win this game off of their defense. And again, I really believe that if Quinn Ewers struggles that much and he has some bad turnovers in this game, like, Sark is not going to be afraid to go to Arch Manning at some point. I still think he has that card up in his sleeve, that ace up his sleeve. He's like, I know I got this in my bag if I need it. I got the best quarterback, the best backup quarterback in America.
You got a dog. I'll tell you that. That guy's awesome.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and about an hour ago, it was kind of confirmed. Isaiah Bond being out for Texas is a big deal. Like, this is
that's tough.
Yeah. Very unlikely, which when you start getting the unlikelies, it's probably not going to happen at this point. We're 2 days out. That matters, man. That's your best wide receiver. It's a guy that's caught SEC championship winning touchdowns, and he's done a lot of cool things.
Matthew Golden has been really good this year for them.
Yes. They're always going to have – they are another group that's – feels like they have really good wide receivers every year.
Yeah.
So they're going to produce, but they got to find some more ground game. They're going to have to win this game with 165, 170 rushing yards. I don't think Quinn's going to be ready for this on Saturday. I think he's kind of beat up. I think he's a little bit of a whirlwind mentally.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think Arch is going to play a factor.
How early do you think? So let's just say it's all balanced. Like, Quinn's not playing bad enough to be taken out, but you're starting to think about it. And I know Sark has this in there. How soon do you start to see the Arch package usage, like the creativity? Everybody's talking about he's kind of Tim Tebow freshman year, like when Chris Leak was used. How soon do you think we see that with Sark? Do you think it's this round? Or do you think they have to hold out?
No, I think it could be this round. I think we could see this be like what Nick Saban, your boy, did in the national championship game against Georgia. Going from Jalen Hurts to Tua Tagovailoa. Hey, if it ain't working with Quinn at half, maybe we need to just change things up.
Exactly.
And do something different. I think that can happen after a quarter. If Quinn goes out there and throws 2 bad interceptions or fumbles the football a couple of times, and we see Clemson get up 14-0 on them because of turnovers, you got to flip that switch.
Yeah.
You got to go to Arch because you just don't have enough trust in Quinn. You want him to be good so badly, but he's just, he doesn't live up to expectations. Like, I'm trying to think of a comparison for that, whether it be a food or something. But
it's out there somewhere.
I'm not good at that. I wish I was better at that. Like, right off the top of my head.
Let me ask you this one. What happens if Arch is bad?
Well,
you just try to go back and forth? I don't know. Like, if you bench Quinn, is it over?
No, I don't think it's over for Quinn. Because we saw that happen in the game against Georgia where Quinn got benched, Arch came in. He wasn't as effective as they were hoping he was going to be, and then they went back to Quinn.
I just don't know how many times you can do that because he can't be great confidence-wise. Maybe he is, maybe, but
at least he's older.
That's
like
true.
he's a veteran guy. He's been through it. You hope it doesn't get to that if you're a Texas fan. Like, hey, you hope Quinn's just good enough to win you this game and keep pushing forward. But
yeah, that's another part of it too. I can also see this being a game where Quinn's just good enough. Like you mentioned, the defense kind of takes over, and Clemson's just okay. They're the worst team in this bracket. They backdoored their way into this. Even though what befuddles me is the fact that they go and beat SMU and they're still ranked lower than them or higher, however you want to look at it.
yeah, however you want to look at it. I don't know.
It's weird. This has got to be fixed.
It's the first year of the college football playoff. We're all figuring it out.
They're all figuring it out.
It'll get better from here, but it just kind of sucked that, especially for Tennessee, that they found their way. Tennessee, Oregon, and Ohio State have found themselves in this particular bunch of a bracket.
Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense. Doesn't make much sense.
All right, so what's your score prediction?
I'm going to say Texas wins this game 27. Let's say 27-25.
Ooh. Wow.
27-24. How about that? 27-24.
Okay.
24-25.
I'm going to go 24-17. Clemson Titans. It doesn't feel great. I'm
Ooh.
very reluctant.
Going out on a limb.
Intern Grant.
I like it.
I don't think that Clemson has the weapons to get this done, honestly. And I think I'm going to go with Texas. Arch and Quinn are, pretty high caliber guys, and I think they'll be able to get it done. And with Clemson losing in the regular season to Georgia, unranked Louisville, and South Carolina, I don't think that they deserve to be here.
Ooh.
So
Who does deserve to be there, Grant?
of course, I'm going to say Bama deserves to be here, honestly. But while we're on the subject, I think I'm going to go 28-14 Texas.
Okay. None of us are going. We haven't picked a game in the 30s yet. After all the offense that has been exposed to this world of college football, it still feels like when you make it to this stage, a lot of defense is played. And I think it's the reason you make it there is because you have a very good defense. Yeah. A lot of the Penn States, the Notre Dames, those teams they get there for a reason. No. Dude, Friday and Saturday are going to be awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I really am looking forward to a 12-team playoff in the college football world. It almost just it feels more fun, and I can't wait until Tennessee's good enough to have a home game. I just think that is going to be such a special time.
Should have got it this year.
Well, I don't necessarily believe that, but it is what it is. You look at Ohio State's 2 losses; they were better losses than Tennessee's 2 losses.
I don't know. I think losing to Michigan at home is a worse loss than Arkansas.
It's a rivalry game. Like we talked about that at the beginning of the year. Like you throw out the records for it. You throw out everything for it.
Their 2 best players were out.
You throw out everything.
Michigan,
Ohio State.
I get that, dude, but that one's inexcusable.
It was like Alabama beating Georgia. What a fluke.
Yeah. What a fluke.
I don't know about that one.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't know. That's always going to be one that's up in the air, but you knew like once the final regular season week happened, they put Tennessee at 9. You're like, they're not moving. It's fine. And I loved Heupel's mentality on it. Like, whenever, wherever. Let's do it.
That's it.
Let's do it.
Any day, any time, any place. Let's go.
Well, you can get this podcast whenever, wherever. Spotify, Apple, all the fun things. Myself, Chase Green. My boy, Grant Greg Warner. I'm so glad you're back home. Glad you're back in the state of Tennessee.
Can we talk a little bit of NFL real quick?
Oh,
I don't know if you got to leave or what the issue. If you
I do have to leave. Yeah,
but I think we do a disservice to Miggy if we did not just quickly touch
did.
on Michael Penix Jr.
Yes,
replacing Kirk Chains.
Oh
and
my
Kirk
gosh.
Cousins.
I never thought it would get this bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that they were replacing Kirk Cousins with Michael Penix Jr. with 3 games left in the NFL season. Say, hey, we're in a divisional race. Go win us the division. That's how bad it's gotten with Kirk Cousins. Like, you watch them play, dude. Like, Kirk just does not have much of an arm right now. Like, he's lofting balls out there. Like, I feel like any 3 of us could go out there and throw the ball harder than Kirk Cousins does.
You can tell that Achilles is still like
It's
either up here or it's really bad down there.
Yeah.
Because he has no juice on it.
Nothing.
None. Even when he's like ready, it's just like he doesn't turn on anything.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised. I just thought like all the health that you can, all the treatment you can get and the year-long process. And when you give somebody like that kind of money, I was like, surely they saw something and they know like the circumstances, but I didn't think this would happen, especially not this soon. I thought next year you'd see a decline. I was like, there's a reason he's on a 2-year deal. But I thought this year they'd be not boat racing their way through.
They should have been.
But the NFC South. But I was like, they should be kind of boat racing everybody.
Yeah, they should be. Like, look, they beat Tampa Bay already twice. So all they have to do is tie with Tampa Bay in order for them to win this division. Now,
Which is crazy to me.
technically a half a game behind them because they're currently 7-7. Tampa Bay 6-8. Or 8-6, excuse me. Tampa Bay's got at Dallas versus the Panthers versus the Saints left. That's an easy schedule the rest of the way for them to win out.
Yep.
And then you go for the Falcons. Their last 3 games of the season, they've got the Giants at the Commanders. That's a toughie. And the Panthers. So, look, 2 cupcake games, and you got to go to Washington. That's the harder. This is going to be tough for Michael Penix. And this is going to be a major disappointment for the entire Falcons organization, a.k.a. Jim Halpert, according to the social media video that we watched.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Amazing.
I'll try to think about – I'm trying to look that up. I was going to see who that account is. It's so good. And I loved it because you, like, compared to – I was like, it kind of is like the wife.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you, Cam. You're the best.
I really meant just for me, but sorry.
Here we go.
Don't be pulling a GT. Don't be.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Yeah. It's a tough spot for Michael Penix. I kind of feel for the kid. I'm glad he's getting an opportunity, but I'm kind of feeling for the kid right now.
If he goes, I mean, to be honest, you can't get worse than Kirk has the last 5 games. It's been atrocious. 1 touchdown, I think 6 picks, 7 picks.
I think it's like 8.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's higher than that.
8.
Yeah. Wild. Gosh, it's so bad. And then you feel for Drake London. You finally get that touchdown.
Kyle Pitts.
I don't know. I
don't know
can't
what to
keep
make
feeling
of
for
Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts. I guess. Like Drake, at least you see the talent. But
Yeah.
Kyle's had 1 good game in 3 years, it feels like.
It's crazy. And I can't drop him from fantasy.
There's
can't
nobody
do
else
it.
out there.
Can't do it.
Because you know as soon as you drop him.
Well, I have Jonnu Smith. Like, I've been playing Jonnu, but I just I'm like, do I drop Kyle and pick up somebody else? I'm like,
If you needed it. If you don't need it, I guess keep him.
I just feel like as soon as I drop him, something good is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. If
But-
Penix goes, if he wins the games he's supposed to, are you going to feel good about it? If he goes, let's say he goes 1 pick, 1 touchdown, average every game, but goes 2-1, are you feeling good about it?
No, because I think they need to go 3-0 to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they need to win out and just hope that Tampa Bay somehow loses a game. And the only game I could realistically see them losing, I know I get the divisional games are difficult sometimes.
Always, yeah.
But realistically, like maybe at Dallas, because they have a pass rush and that's actually been pretty good, and that's what frustrates Tampa Bay.
Yeah. God, you got to rely on the Dallas Cowboys to win the division.
Cooper Rush has been better.
He has been better.
Rico Dowdle's been actually decent.
But I mean, I guess anybody can cook the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's true.
especially the eliminated Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Do you know when? I don't know if you heard this, but Michael Penix Jr. was actually at Costco shopping when he found out.
Yeah, him and his girlfriend. Saw
Yeah.
that. I like Penix. I loved him at Washington.
I did too. I thought this was a good pick. Like, I know a lot of people berated the Falcons for using another high pick on an offensive player. That's not going to help them this year, but I thought it was smart to look towards the future. You couldn't really know that Kirk was not going to have it the way that he doesn't have it. Like, even Aaron Rodgers at 40, 41 years old, like coming off the Achilles, like he looks better than Kirk does right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Much better. And he doesn't even look
yeah.
that good.
With Penix being older too,
Yes,
it gives you
good point.
it gives you a boat of confidence though. Like he's 26, I believe.
He's 20.
Is he 24? Okay, sorry, I thought he was a little bit older. But either way, 24.
God, that
years.
would be old for us. College quarterback.
In my mind, I was like, he's gone. This is his
Yeah.
whatever. Him and Cam Ward have been like 3 different colleges.
You
But
want to look up how old Michael Penix is?
yeah,
Yeah, look up how old Michael Penix is. Just officially. I think it's
Yeah,
24.
I think you're right. But with Penix being older, I thought like with the 2-year deal with Cousins.
Says he's 24 years old.
Okay,
24.
perfect.
Like Grant says that like he doesn't believe it. He said, "It says
It's
he's
questionable.
24." It's kind of questionable.
Wikipedia
Internet.
these days, you know. With Kirk, I thought it was perfect with the 2-year deal. It's like, okay, you might get. I really thought this year he would have a special year, to be honest. Going into it, I was like, what we saw with Kevin O'Connell, holy crap, he's going to cook again. I didn't realize Kevin O'Connell was a wizard beyond all measure nowadays, making Sam Darnold look so good. But, sorry.
Hey, we're right there.
We're right there.
I'm
You're
fine.
right there.
Packers are right there. I ain't mad.
Okay. But I just thought, man, you got a 2-year insurance. To be honest, I could definitely see Kirk taking the second year fall off, kind of the back end.
Yeah.
Then you start him like after a year and a half. I feel like we're like a year ahead of schedule with Penix, but I'm not too worried about it. If that offensive line holds up, you've seen it. The man can sling it.
He can.
He can sling it, and
Yeah.
he's so accurate. He's so accurate. He just needs time. He is one of those guys that obviously all quarterbacks are bad under pressure, but his was something fierce in that national championship.
It was real bad.
It was bad, dude.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, but he just real quick. He had a phone call with Kirk Cousins, and he said, and I quote, "He just told me that he's in my corner, the same that I was for him whenever he was the starter. He said he was going to come into the building, continue to stay positive, and do whatever he can to help me out and help this team win football games." End quote. You wouldn't expect anything less from Kirk Cousins, Mr.
Great A guy.
Yeah, Mr. Coles himself,
Mr. Coles himself.
Coles mannequin.
Big fan favorite in the Green and the Edmonds family.
Yeah.
It is number one quarterback in their hearts. Speaking of, I was going to ask you this.
Penix was actually getting a hot dog whenever he got the call.
Oh, dude, Costco hot dogs slap, boys.
Big time.
Slap. I was going to ask you, is it too late in life for me to change my fan base in the NFL? If I was going to stay regional, if I was going to go from the Titans to the Falcons?
I don't think it's ever too late to change your fan base based on how your fan base has treated you as a fan. But it's always a tough look. Like, I'm not a big proponent of wholeheartedly like jumping a ship and changing your fan base. Like, you can have an affinity for another fan, another team, but fully abandoning. Are you thinking about jumping ship?
If things do not change over the offseason, but I actually really want to do it right now. I want to jump ship.
To who? To the
It'd be the Falcons.
Okay.
I'd like to say regional.
Nicky would love to have that.
I know. Great jerseys.
But
I'd have to give a lot of things up.
They're both disappointing franchises. So why would you want to go to one disappointing franchise to another when you can come to Titletown, USA?
Because I'm never going to go to Green Bay.
So
I
will take you to Green Bay. If you'll be a Packer fan,
I can't do it.
I will pay your way to Green Bay and go to a game.
Our wonderful Mike's Hole in the Wall staff would all love that.
They would.
They would love that very
Josh
much. Yeah, Josh and Justin. Both of them are
Are they both Packer fans?
both Packer
Oh,
fans.
I knew I liked this place.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Mike's.
They're bad franchises, but I like Penix, so I feel like I could jump on that wagon soon. Right now, the Titans have no quarterback. They have a bad GM. I don't know if their coach is ready for this moment.
Okay.
We got a long road ahead, big dog.
Okay. Bad GM in what sense? That he moved up to get this bad quarterback, or because of the way he constructed the roster for this season?
Both actually.
Well, yes, which one more so than the other?
The quarterback move. The Levis thing was, we all saw it. We all said it. And it just continued to prove right.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, he didn't take him in the first round, so that was a good thing.
But that was also a bad thing. It's like, if you didn't believe in him, why would you not give him the extra year? That was always my pitch. It's like, if you didn't believe in him, why did you move up in the second round?
Probably could have stayed where you were and got him in the second round.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to believe in a quarterback, get him in the first round so you can get the 5th-year eligibility on the contract. So that just felt like a dumb move to me in that sense. I'll never.
Well, they clearly didn't believe in him that much.
I know. So, but why waste a second-round pick? I'm like, go it, dude.
We're trying to find a quarterback.
We're trying to find a quarterback. Will Levis wasn't in.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you talk about the roster construction this year, and I was listening to the radio on my 12-and-a-half-hour drive back yesterday from Florida, which was the longest I've ever driven in a car before. It was insane. And
Where was it in Florida?
Punta Gorda.
Oh, yeah. No.
I didn't drink a single energy drink.
Wow. No caffeine, nothing?
Well, I had a little caffeine. I had this, like, protein shake that was like a cold brew latte.
Oh, okay.
Had like 80 milligrams of caffeine in it.
That's strong, bro.
It was good. But yeah, no, it was crazy. And I was listening to somebody talk about it, and it was talking about like, oh, the way that Rand Carthon put together this roster this year was kind of ridiculous. I don't agree with that, because when we talk about a young quarterback, you want to be able to go out there, spend money, and you want to find out. The goal for this year was to find out whether or not Will Levis was good or whether he sucked.
Yeah.
And if you want to give him the best opportunity to be good, put pieces around him. And they did that, and he still sucks. Okay, we understand. But now everybody wants to kill Rand Carthon for going out there, making moves, bringing in Calvin Ridley, paying him. Obviously DeAndre Hopkins was there. You trade for L'Jarius Sneed. You're bringing other pieces like Ernest Jones.
None of them worked out.
No, nobody worked.
That's the thing, is like, that's what scares me, is like, man,
Tyler Boyd.
man,
But like, you gave Will the best shot that he could possibly get, and he still is not very good.
no. I think it's like an evaluation process of, dude, none of your guys worked out. You traded Hopkins away in the middle of the season, which needed to happen. I get it. It's part of the business. Like, when you suck, start giving away stuff so you can get points. I get it. Calvin has had moments. Levis can't hit him. And both corners, man, what a fall off.
Well,
Ernest got hurt. Like, no, these guys just have not panned out. And, stats, people are like, well, look at the passing defense. It's like, dude, you don't have to cover the pass, the Titans, because their run defense is so bad. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things that the evaluation process, it's like when you take somebody away from the Chiefs, they're probably not the same player they were coming to the Titans from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you there's a reason Snead is on the block. I don't know. I feel like we got a long ways to go, man. I don't know if I'm ready for another rebuild. 3 years ago, the Titans were the number 1 seed.
I know.
So,
With Ryan freaking Tannehill.
Yep.
Well, the problem was when John Robinson traded away A.J. Brown
you'll never forgive it.
and drafted Treylon Burks. So where is he?
I don't even know if it's on the roster
that's
still.
APB, man. I mean, he is a lost cause.
Oh, it's heartbreaking, dude.
It's really tough.
It's so heartbreaking to watch. I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was like, I could wear some black and some red.
It's good. It's a good color combination.
Go down to the,
It's a good color
Mercedes-Benz.
It's a great stadium.
Or I might just like start
Shorter
to cheer for
drive.
both. And then, once the new stadium gets built, I'll just go to Nashville more. But they have been relegated at my household. Like they are, at best, they're the small side TV.
Yeah.
Most of the time now I'm just watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
They've been relegated for weeks. The Titans are gone from my main TV. I am blessed enough to have a small and a big TV that I can watch
that is
games on.
nice.
But they've been relegated. They're not coming back, baby, for a long time. This is going to be bad next year.
Big soccer guy talking about relegation.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think it would be fun if you had like relegation into the NFL and you had like a smaller league that like was right under the NFL and they played games all year long, just like right next to it. And then like the best team in there get bumps up to the NFL and then the NFL team gets relegated down to the B League.
Relegation
Keep it
would be so
interesting for sure.
Huh?
Yeah.
It would keep it interesting.
Exactly. Because it would make everybody want to be as competitive as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
You
not
couldn't
just
be the
suck for
Carolina
draft picks.
Yeah, you couldn't be the Carolina Panthers.
No.
You
Or
could
the-
not. Yeah. It is a battle for the bottom
Giants
right
or the
now.
Jets or the Jags.
Yeah.
Like I get it, injuries are a thing, but league Titans stink. They're just no fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a boring watch, too.
It's not even a good watch.
It's been a boring watch for a while,
Yeah.
but now it's brutal. Levis is so bad.
So
And I want the best for everybody. Like I'm not one of those people like I didn't want him to suck. I just thought he would.
hate when we're right, you know?
Hey, when I'm right.
Hate when we're right.
Sorry.
It's
Not
tough.
sorry.
It's tough.
No.
All right, now you can sign us off. I just wanted to touch on those
No,
two
you're
things.
right. You're right. I'll be honest. I had to
Major
pee.
quarterback
I
things
had to
happening
pee
in
pretty
the-
bad, and then it's one of those things that
Sorry about
we got. No, you're good. We got a time clock nowadays. Being a dad,
that. Yeah.
that internal clock gets to me sometimes, but we're gonna be all right. Boys, appreciate you. Much love. Intern
That
Grant.
was terrible. Give me another one. There we go.
Intern Grant. It's a pleasure, big dog. We're glad to have you on board. We got Grant for when do you go back to school?
I'll be leaving January 7th. Class to start
Okay.
January 8th.
Okay.
We got Grant for a couple weeks. We're gonna do some fun stuff. We got a Monday show, so I'm not gonna wish everybody a Merry Christmas. So we'll still have that. Yeah, college football. Just everybody have a blast this weekend. Ladies, give your gentlemen a break because they're going to be tuned into multiple TVs. Go watch some games. Take some nuggets from this pod. I don't know how big our female listenership is anymore, but maybe. I know my mom listens.
It should increase now with the grants here as well.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. The college ladies, there's your one last lick, buddy.
Yeah. Just that's a great side profile.
God is, man.
That's such
That head
a
of
good
hair.
side
You got it. You got a good quaff today, buddy.
Hard
Whatever
jaw,
do.
you know. Like,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Per usual, like and subscribe to the podcast. We love yous. Chase Green, Greg Lornard, Intern Grant. We'll see y'all later.
Peace and love.